Hello, what is Adrian Hurd Weather Rampage, and this is your dangerous Hurricane Irma update as of 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And I am giving you this update once again on this hurricane. As many of you know, this hurricane is expected to impact Florida and is supposed to bring some very powerful impacts to the state of Florida. And this hurricane means business, as I've been talking about, as you've been hearing on TV. This hurricane means a lot of business, even though been downgraded to a Category 3 hurricane. It has lost some of its intensity as it crossed over the island of Cuba, the northern part of Cuba. But nevertheless, this is still a very dangerous hurricane, a very powerful storm, and it has a very large wind field, which is not going to lessen its effects on Florida by very much. But this storm is very powerful. As of 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time advisory, as of today, Hurricane Irma's wind speed and intensity San Francisco wind scale, a Category 3 hurricane. Maximum sustained winds were at 125 miles per hour, and its minimum central pressure was at 933 millibars. And its location was 23.4 north and 80.5 west. And its movement was west-northwest at 9 miles per hour. And that movement, it looks like it is beginning to start to slow down with its movement. And as you can see satellite imagery here of the hurricane in a little bit bigger view. You can see here, this is the IR satellite imagery. Here's the eye wall of Hurricane Irma, dangerous Hurricane Irma, as it is on the northern fringes of the north part of the island of Cuba. It was moving west-northwest, but it took a little jog to the west. If you look at that last part of that satellite imagery, if I was to zoom in and show you that, as the eye wall, as it continued to move northwest, it took a little jog to the west instead of northwest. So a little bit due west of northwest is where that eye wall is taking that track right now, kind of hovering over the island of Cuba, as I said before. And as it does so, here's the satellite imagery, which is beautiful satellite imagery. I love the satellite imagery. Any meteorologist that wants to do weather loves this satellite imagery from the College of DuPage. It is just an awesome satellite imagery showing you the symmetry and structure of Hurricane Irma. As you can see, the spiraling bands continue as this storm is now going through what is called, I do believe now, the storm is beginning to go through what is called an eye wall replacement cycle. And with that happening, that means that the eye wall is restructuring itself to begin to re-intensify. And it is expected to become a Category 4 hurricane as it is emerging now off into these warmer waters. Right now, it's kind of remaining kind of slowing down some, but that the forecast models track it across the Florida Keys, across Key West, and move it inland into Florida. So we're going to see what happens with that, but it's going through an eye wall replacement cycle. And with that happening, the storm's winds begin to come down, but the eye wall begins to continue to restructure itself. So as it does that, it will go through a whole nother restructuring, and the storm will begin to ventilate and breathe again. And then before you know it, the storm comes back bigger and stronger than ever. And that is what I think it's doing. As this wind field is going to get bigger, larger with this storm, it's going to get larger. As the wind field is already big, but it is going to get larger with hurricane force winds probably extending some 80-something miles out from the center or more, and tropical storm force winds possibly getting up to almost, probably tropical storm force winds getting up to almost over 400 miles in diameter. And hurricane force winds probably going higher than 200 miles in diameter, possibly approaching 200 miles in diameter. So this is a very big storm. The core of this storm is going to have winds extending almost 80 miles from the center. So that gives you that 120 to 140 mile per hour wind speed, gives you kind of an idea of where the winds will be, how far they extend outward. As hurricane warnings continue for now, the entire state of Florida is under hurricane warnings. So that is unprecedented. That is making history right now. So that is making history, as that has not occurred before, I don't believe, in hurricane history. So the entire state of Florida under hurricane warnings, almost the entire state of Florida. Storm surge warning now for every coastline area in Florida and the Key West. So this is a powerful, powerful hurricane situation. And as you can see here, this is the forecast track. Expected to be here, expected to be in the Keys by 8 a.m. Sunday morning. So here in the Florida Keys by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, you need to be already hunkered down and sheltered. And then it reaches up here towards Naples and Fort Myers by 8 p.m. Sunday, making landfall, and then will be near the Tampa area in between Sunday and Monday. Tampa, Florida, before it accelerates into Alabama and Tennessee as a tropical depression. So this is a very dangerous storm. You need to be paying attention to this storm if you live in Key West and all of the state of Florida. Find you a safe spot. Get away from this storm. Wind speeds are going to be incredible with this storm, and as it moves inland, it's going to affect Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina with winds as well. So you guys need to be paying attention as well, as storm surge warnings are now in effect for the coast of Georgia up into South Carolina as well. So this storm is going to have some very serious impacts as it continues to move off into the northwest, begin to take that turn to the northwest. And just some stunning satellite images. Look at that of this storm, just a powerful hurricane, unprecedented storm. But if it strengthens any more to up to Category 4 strength, it's going to have wider impacts. So just keep that in mind. It is expected to intensify. It is at 125 mile per hour wind speeds right now, but it projected to be at up to almost near 150 more before it hits land. So that's going to cause this storm to be more catastrophic. So just want to keep that in mind. I will keep you updated on this storm. It's a very dangerous situation. This is Weather Rampage with Adrian Howe with your hurricane alert with Hurricane Irma, dangerous Hurricane Irma update. I'll keep you updated on Facebook and social media. Take care, everyone.